Hey guys, Mike here. So today, I'm here to talk to you about Jumanji, The Next Level. In this review, I'll be going over a brief summary of the plot, my quick thoughts about the film, and whether or not you guys should go and see it. Now, normally, I do try and keep my reviews as spoiler-free as possible, but there are a few things that I do want to go over that are in the trailer, but I think if you haven't seen the trailers, they would constitute as a spoiler, so for this review, I'm just going to call it a spoiler review. However, if you don't want to know anything about the film, and you want to go in completely blind, then let's just come back to this video once you've seen the film. So with that, let's get started, shall we?
We're not going to make it.
We're gonna make it.
I don't think we're going to make it.
We're gonna make it. We're not gonna make it.
So Jumanji The Next Level stars Dwayne Johnson, Kevin Hart, Jack Black and Karen Gillan as the avatars of Spencer, Fridge, Bethany and Martha. In Jumanji The Next Level, after barely making it out alive the first time they got stuck in the game, they've all managed to move on and, do pretty well for themselves. Except for Spencer, who's kind of stuck in a bit of a rut, so he decides to put Jumanji back together and go back into the game, hoping that will make him feel better or something. However, after his friends have discovered that he's done this, they decide to go in after him and get him out. However, things are a little bit different this time, because along for the ride is Danny DeVito and Danny Glover. So if it wasn't bad enough they've got two people in the game who have never played the game before, and probably haven't played any video game ever, this time they're stuck in different avatars than they were the last time they were there. So whilst doing that as well, they have to find another ancient jewel in Jumanji to help them beat the game and get home. And so we have Jumanji The Next Level. So the first thing I want to say is, I think this is probably the best movie of the year to have not watched the trailers for. Because like most every other movie that I want to say, I do not watch the trailers for it because they give too much away. And this movie is a definite sign of that. Because going into this movie, I didn't know that there were going to be different avatars from what they were last time. So when I first saw it, that was a really good surprise for me. So not only does it kind of shake up the format a little bit, it also gives the actors a chance to actually, branch out and do something a bit different in this movie. So now let's talk about some of the individual performances. I must admit, it did take me a while to get used to Dwayne Johnson as Danny DeVito's character. Because at first, Dwayne Johnson sounded more cockney than he did kind of Danny DeVito, really. But honestly, you kind of do get used to it after a bit, and it's perfectly fine. Because while at first he didn't really manage the vocal performance, the physicality he definitely had on point. Because there are a couple of wide shots where you do see him walking like Danny DeVito. And honestly, I'd say the most surprising performance in the movie is Kevin Hart as Danny Glover's avatar. Because if you've seen Kevin Hart in pretty much anything, he always plays Kevin Hart. And so for him to pretty much not play Kevin Hart is absolutely amazing. And honestly, he made a really good Danny Glover avatar. He had his voice down, he had his mannerisms down, he just played the role really well. Now for the most part, Karen Gillan was the avatar of the same person that she was last time, so there's not really much to talk about her doing anything new, really. There was one scene where Fridge did end up taking over as Karen Gillan's character, and you know what, when she was acting like Fridge, she was actually really good. But this scene was kind of short-lived because Fridge wasn't really Karen Gillan's character for very much long, about like 3 minutes I'd say. So I can't really necessarily do a deep dive into that performance. But still, Karen Gillan's really good in the movie. But I'd say definitely the biggest standout from the last movie was Jack Black playing a 15-year-old girl. He absolutely nailed that performance and was definitely one of the biggest takeaways from the last movie. He mastered both the voice and the physicality, and he was just really great to watch. However, in this one, Fridge, for the most part, is Jack Black's character. So again, for the most part, Jack Black sounds like Fridge's character. And honestly, I think he actually did a better job of sounding like Fridge more than Kevin Hart did. Because my biggest problem with the last Jumanji movie was that Kevin Hart was just Kevin Hart. And this would be fine if Fridge was like Kevin Hart, but he's not. Because in the movie, Fridge isn't as loud or as exaggerative as Kevin Hart is. So it really kind of ruins your immersion a bit when you're trying to see Kevin Hart playing Fridge, but he's not. Whereas Jack Black, on the other hand, does a much better job of capturing the essence of Fridge's character. And also, someone else who's new to the movie and game is Aquafina. And at the start of the movie, she's Spencer's avatar. So at the start of the movie, she kind of acts like Spencer. And like everyone else in the movie, she nails the vocal and the physical performance. It's only really later on in the movie where she really does shine. Because something else that's new to the game is that there's this green-blue water that when you step in it and you make contact with another player, you get to switch characters. Which I thought was absolutely brilliant. It gave people a chance to play different roles, and it was just something really nice to add to the game. So there's a scene where they all need to switch characters because they're each down to their last life, and they need to go basically fight the final boss. So they all jump in the water and play the avatars which they're most comfortable with playing. So Spencer goes back to Dwayne Johnson's character, Fridge goes back to Kevin Hart's character, and Bethany goes back to Jack Black's character. And so that now means Danny DeVito's character is now played by Aquafina. And I have to say, she's probably definitely the biggest standout from this movie. Not to take it away from Dwayne Johnson, but I think she did a much better job playing Danny DeVito than he did. She was really funny, her delivery was on point, and she was just really great to watch. So in summary for the characters, I thought it was great that they each got to play different characters, so they kind of mixed it up a bit. The addition of the switch character water was a nice addition. And also something else they added which was really good as well, is they gave them new strengths and weaknesses as well. Which makes sense for a video game because as you progress, you'll either get new strengths or weaknesses. So you know what, very good performances all round, I'd say. So, how about the story though? If you look at it from, say, a narrative point of view, it is more or less exactly the same as the first movie. Which I imagine can be a problem for some people, but if you're looking at it from a video game point of view, this makes perfect sense because it feels like the same game. Some of the challenges are a little bit harder, but it still captures the basic essence of what the Jumanji game was like. You know, if you're talking about Welcome to the Jungle and probably not necessarily the original Jumanji movie. So honestly, this movie being kind of the same as the first one, I have no problem with, because it was just as entertaining, just as funny, and just as good as Welcome to the Jungle, I'd say. And another thing that the movie does really well is it has really good, very comprehensible action. Because if you know me, I cannot stand shaky cam action, and though at the start there are quite a few quick cut action scenes, you can still see everything that's going on, and later on they have much better filmed action scenes, which, again, you can see everything that's going on, so it makes it really entertaining and easy to follow. And lastly, I imagine this film is probably going to do really well. Maybe not necessarily as good as the first movie, but I still think it'll make a lot of money at the box office. So it begs the question, are they going to make a third movie? Because towards the end, it kind of makes it really seem like they're not going to do another one because they keep saying, yeah, we're not going to go back, we're not going to do it again. Which, you know, they said in the first movie, but they still ended up going back anyway. So I was just thinking, like, how are they going to justify a third movie? And then at the end, they definitely set up a third movie. Because at the end, you see the ostriches running across the street, which means Jumanji has somehow made it into the real world. So I'd say this is definitely a great setting for a third movie. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing this movie when it comes out in 2021 or 2022 or something. Overall, guys, I really enjoyed this movie. Normally with sequels, you kind of think that they might be a little bit worse than the first one, but honestly, I would say that this one is on par with the first one. It has great action, great performances, it's really funny, and it's just really entertaining to watch. But now, as for whether or not, you guys should go and see it. Honestly, I would definitely recommend that you should go see this movie. You should definitely go see it in the cinema as well, because the experience is definitely enhanced by being on the big screen. And honestly, I'd say rewatch Welcome to the Jungle before going to see this one, just so it can feel like one massive experience. Okay guys, that's my review of Jumanji The Next Level. If you've seen it, what did you think about it? And what's your favourite jungle adventure movie? Whatever it is, drop it in the comments below. Until next time, I've been Michael. See ya!